Well, we're back to our second chapter in how to play the game. In our first chapter, we learned the lesson of becoming conscious of not feeling enough, and how when we get that ping in our gut that says something is out of alignment, we feel like we're not enough, how we might go into a fight, flight, or freeze reaction if we don't breathe into that and become more self-aware. Well, now we're taking a look at how to play the game, and we're in a storyline where there's some big decisions being made about a job and hearing their expectations, and gee, if I don't meet these expectations, maybe I won't get what I want. How often does that happen to us, where we can really sense and feel somebody else's attachment and expectations, and our gut is saying, yeah, if I don't say yes to that, deal done. And how often do we go into this accommodation, this overgiving, this people-pleasing, this perfectionism, trying to make ourselves into the pretzel we feel we need to be just to fit in, to again have that safety, security, love, and belonging that we want. Well, in this story, we see a different way to play the game. We really dig into the 5 levels of consciousness, looking at the unconscious imprint that tells us we are the oppressed gender. You know, how dare we think, little missy, that this or something better is coming our way? And looking at that fear, looking at that self-doubt, looking at that judgment of those beliefs and how they've caused us to have this limited thinking when it's no longer them oppressing us, it's now our thoughts that are creating these feelings, that are creating these behaviors, and that are creating these results in our life. And when we become aware of that ping in our gut that tells us something is out of alignment, they want something different than I want to give. And again, we learn to slow down and pause in that and see that disalignment. We begin to tap into a whole different confidence within ourselves that we get when we become intuitively aligned. But it's not that easy. It doesn't just happen like that. There is this battle within between the ego, that level 2 consciousness, that fear, self-doubt, and judgment, and becoming aligned and enlightened. And again, it all starts with the gut alert. But the gut alert alone is not our higher consciousness. Our higher consciousness occurs when we notice that gut alert and we notice the emotional reactions that we're having. You know, there's wisdom in our emotions when we pause and pay attention. You know, fear, self-doubt, and judgment have a lot of wisdom to them. What are we afraid of? They want this, I want that. My self-doubt, what is that telling me? Oh, I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to speak up for myself in the way I need to. And the judgment is all those limited beliefs and thoughts and feelings. And again, when we bring those up into our consciousness, we're able to look at them and examine them versus ignore them. And we're able to step into the conversation in a different sort of way, where we can take a risk and negotiate on our behalf. Did you know that women already outrank men 17 out of 19 leadership characteristics, according to the Pew studies and McKinsey studies? The 2 we really need to work on, however, are risk-taking and negotiation. And this all has to do with this jolt in our heart that happens when our gut alert goes off, and those neurons, neurotransmitters, and hormones have to come up the vagus nerve, and guess what it has to pass through? Our heart. There's all the emotions. There's the amygdala. There's the, oh my gosh, memories of oppression and having to fit in, to get ahead, to accommodate, to please, to overgive, to be perfect. And when we can realize that that oppression memory imprint is within us, and we can observe it, and then we can detach from it and step in, not aggressively, but taking a risk to have the conversation around how might we can begin to create solutions with other people and the life we love. But it all starts with understanding that that ping in your gut is an opportunity to really look at your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, so you take responsibility for your results. Because again, that ping in the gut is just an unconscious alert to say, trust your gut, something's out of alignment. That's all. That's all it is. And then we need to look at our thoughts about that. Do they race down the road? Do we start telling ourselves the story that, oh, he wants me to travel and I can't, so I'm not going to get the job if I say anything around that? See, it's not that he really wants me to travel like in the story. It's right away what I tell myself about that. Instead of saying, is that interesting? For this job, he really wants me to travel. I wonder, how might we negotiate that? See how that different thought creates a different feeling, creates a different behavior, because out of that curiosity, I'm going to step in and have that curious and collaborative conversation to see if I can co-create a different result. So the moral of the story is, listen to that gut alert so that you can stop, slow down and breathe, tune in, observe what's happening, but perceive the new possibility by saying, isn't that interesting? How might we co-create an outcome that works for both of us? And that new thought will create a new feeling, which will create a new behavior of you taking a risk and stepping in to negotiate on your behalf and the good of the all to create a new result, a win-win. How might you do that in your life? It's not what happens out here. That's just a stimulus that triggers your gut to say, pay attention, something's out of alignment. How might I step in to negotiate a win-win that takes you down the road of enlightenment?